Oh, Coach, did you have an award ceremony on this past Sunday?
Let me think. Um, yeah, the Tony Awards.
Yes.
Hey, and
What?
I'm thinking about, call it top dog law. Top dog law. You got to get top dog law because I may have a lawsuit for them taking my name, Val, putting on some metal piece of wood. I mean, metal, and handing that out as an award without getting permission from me. That's
Exactly.
all I'm
So we
saying.
got to make sure that they pay you because you cannot be doing that type of thing. Oh my gosh. Well, it's
And
another
you already know that I know about name, image, and likeness. You already know that.
exactly the NIL professional. That is Coach Tony. He knows about it. What? And we
Man,
got
what?
another
How
wonderful
you
episode.
how you doing
Get
today?
ready. I'm doing good. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this. Peace. It's another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays with your host here. This is Coach Tony and myself, Val the Voice
Lord,
Johnson. Val the Voice. And of course, today our affiliate sponsor is KeySpot. Share, connect, and grow. If you want to grow your small business or any other product that you have, connect with KeySpot. And I'll go ahead and ask Mr. Springer, who's back from his anniversary vacation, to place it in the chat. And of course, uh, you know what? I'm so excited about this, Coach. I had a
come on,
conversation. I'm
come on.
looking at the last chapters of the book. It's going to get released soon, man. Like
I'm pulling it up
tomorrow
like I'm fishing.
soon.
You know, like you
That's
go
right.
fishing and you throw the reel in, you just got to pull it out. I'm reeling it in right now, man. I'm trying to reel it in.
Oh my gosh. And so I am over the moon that this will come out this week. I'm thinking tomorrow, but that will be how much editing I get to do this tonight. So I was given the task at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I only got a chance to get out of the house for like maybe 7 to 10 minutes. And then I came right back so I could start the show because I'm dedicated to our audience, Coach.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. And then, of course, Patreon. Join our community via Patreon today. Go to patreon.com/interludes. And if you want to see some behind the scenes or some fun stuff that we do here at Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays or the Pull Up Podcast Show, you can go there and check some things out. Oh, my goodness. Coach Tony. So, like I said, tomorrow we have, it's going to be a national holiday.
What you said,
Juneteenth is the real Independence Day. Do you agree with that?
man, I agree. I agree with that before they made it a holiday.
I know. There have been already a lot of celebrations in and around town of Chicago and other places around the country. They are already actively doing their Juneteenth celebrations, which is phenomenal. I am excited about it. So that's
Let me
what's
tell you
happening.
something, man.
What you got?
So, and this is on the serious as I can get in serious business.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Martin Luther King on MLK Day, we take the time. You remember the I Have a Dream speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to
Mm-hmm.
run that each and every year when we were kids. We almost knew it verbatim. As a matter of fact, it became such an item. The one and only Farley Funky Keith and Frankie Knuckles put it into a house track, the I Have a Dream house track.
I
And
remember that.
okay, so then, but maybe people got out, and the ones who didn't know, like my granddaughter, other kids I'm around, who didn't really know the importance of the Martin Luther King Day because this loss exists. So,
Mm-hmm.
tell you a little story real quick. We jump in this. So, there was a predominantly Caucasian guy, very good friend of mine on Twitter, and happened to be in the for promotional purposes only world. And they were laughing and joking about this Juneteenth day.
Okay.
I've specifically got an opportunity to meet him 2 years ago at the racetrack, California, while I was out there on basketball. And the day I happened to be listening to the show, like people watching you and I, Val, and the gentleman said, "What the heck is this? People will do anything to get a day off of work and not go in. What the heck is it? Juneteenth? They were going to call it July 10th, September 10th, and everything else." So I hit him with a quick behind the scenes tweet and I said, "Hey, man, this is a real holiday. It's not only a real
Mm-hmm.
holiday, it's a real holiday for African Americans on our Independence Day of Freedom." And then I started to explain to him what happened. And he then went to Wikipedia and looked it up. He apologized profusely, even gave me apology to the people on national TV. He tweets me
Mm.
and says, "If you ever in this area, come out and see me." Make a long story short, I was in California, got to get out to the racetrack, saw the gentleman, put me on TV, introduced me that day, hit a pick three. On this very day, we've been communicating via back and forth. And every June 19th, he calls and sends me a tweet, says, "Hey, Coach, happy Juneteenth." And so I feel blessed because that was a majority who didn't know anything about the minority holiday, and that's a majority holiday for us.
Right.
So
And
don't just take it as a day off work. Learn something about the holiday.
yeah, and here's the thing, educate yourselves. Now, tomorrow, the post office, as well as some banks, not all, but some banks will be closed on tomorrow. And so, thank you so very much, Mr. Springer, for placing it in. He says, official Independence Day for our peoples. Thank you for putting that in there. Our
Hey, you got to give
peoples.
the peoples what they like.
Exactly, exactly. And just kind of the thing that I am always trying to make sure that we tell people is in some parts of the country, not everywhere, but in some parts of the country, some of this parts of history are trying to be erased from schools as well as history books. We're not
Yep.
erasing it. So please, I'd say get educated about it and learn about it and know why is this important. President Joe Biden made this an official holiday in 2022, I believe.
Yeah, 2022.
Mhm.
And do your due diligence. You're at home. Get the books and read to the little ones, right? Teach them about it.
Mhm.
Talk about your assets. Don't be afraid to talk about the reason why you're here. Because without
Right.
Juneteenth, neither you or I would be sitting here doing this show.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm telling you, that is what's going on with that. So tomorrow, I say enjoy the day and educate in the day. And then, of course, on this month, we are celebrating Black Music Month. All three
Yes,
shows are
yes,
doing
yes,
that.
yes, yes,
June
yes.
is Black Music Month, but summer is coming. Summer officially starts this week. Tony,
Vibe. You got that vibe.
so I mean, it's already hit the 90s here in Chicago. So I don't
Well,
really
it's
understand
almost
what's
close to
going
the
on.
100s here in Nashville.
That sounds like that's a little hot. That's a little hot. Let us know that you're here in the chat. Let us know and say hello. But as we joked around a little bit earlier, there was a Tony Awards that was happening on this past Sunday, June 16th. Adriana DeBose, she Academy Award winner, was the host again for the second year, just
Oh, yeah.
looking gorgeous and
Did a
everything.
great job.
But
Great job.
oh my gosh, did a wonderful job. And of course, if you would like to see it streaming, you can go ahead and see it streaming on
My
Paramount
girl, the
Plus.
team.
So this young lady here, I'm sorry, Grammy Award winner Alicia Keys has a play on Broadway called Hell's Kitchen. It's based
Yes.
on her music. Can you believe that?
And I got an
Mm.
opportunity to listen to her on CBS in the morning with Gail to describe
Ah,
this show. And she talked about bringing her son, which is actually the actor in the house. and he knows the words verbatim. And
Mm.
she said, Swiss is like me. Don't take him up in there. Don't take him up in there unless you got some chicken wings and a little bourbon or something to drink, because he going to sleep through the first act.
Oh my gosh. So I have to say I haven't gotten a chance to see the Broadway show. It was nominated for 7 Tonys. Unfortunately, it didn't win any of them. I a little sad about that. But it here's the
Seven nominations though, Val. Seven
it had
nominations.
7 nominations for that, and of course it is based on the music of Alicia Keys. And of course, it's inspired by where she grew up. And there's a section of Manhattan that's called Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
So
Exactly
she,
right. Where my people's at. And I
yeah,
guarantee you that this will soon be a Netflix.
very much so. Very much so. Yeah. Cause I feel like her music is iconic. And of course, a lot of people that got a chance to see Hell's Kitchen, I'm telling you, some of the, I want to call it, what am I trying to say? The nominations were well for best musical, for best song as well. And then, of course, who is this? We had, oh, I'm sorry. It is a 2-time Tony Award winning musical. And it has Mahala Joy Moon. That's who you see there in the picture
Right.
with Alicia. So Alicia did one of her iconic songs, which any native New Yorker is excited about. It's like the updated version of what is it? Frank Sinatra's "Yeah, Here's to You, New York." That's all I can sing. But yes, so so her song that she made famous in 2009, and of course they got on that stage, Tony, the Tony Award winning stage, and got a chance to really go ahead and perform. But
She was
what I
Gucci'd out too.
noticed, she was Gucci'd out. But what I noticed is she started walking toward she's commanding. Everybody stood up on in their chairs and they're all waving and excited for the song. But then she walks away from the front stage and then the cameras turn. This was a surprise. Jay-Z, who is on the New York song with her, makes an appearance, but he is not on the same stage as everybody else. Alicia had to leave the main stage and walk to him. I come to find out it was because it was a surprise. I didn't know that.
I'm telling you, and I thought it was absolutely dope. I thought that
Mhm.
that it's a way for Jay-Z not to take away from Alicia Keys, and at the same time, again,
Mhm.
to surprise the audience and to bring only the GOAT on the album that made that track hot.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, the Hell's Kitchen Broadway, it is about it's set in a tiny apartment in the neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen. And of course, it's like a 17-year-old loosely based on the Alicia Keys character. And of course, she has some of her, I didn't realize it, not one, not two, she's earned 16 Grammy Awards. And the songs that appear in this Hell's Kitchen is "If I Ain't Got You," of course, "Empire State of Mind." That's the song she recorded with Jay-Z, and then a few others. But is currently now at the Schubert Theater in the Theater District in Manhattan, still playing on Broadway. But like I said, they performed, and a lot of people were happy to see Jay, I guess, he always talks about retiring. I don't understand why he lies and says he's
I
retiring. He's
mean,
not
I,
retiring.
I
He
think
loves it. He loves it.
I think he's been retired. I think he's been retired. I think all he's doing right now is collabos and special
Mhm.
appearances. I think he is retired, like he said. And when you are away from it, all you do is collaborations and show up for picnics in the park. Yeah, he's done. But I hope that I would love to see Jay drop maybe one more album and call it, the end theory, or call it the finale or something like that. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But like I said, I noticed he's been very quiet as of late. I think the last time we saw him was at the Grammy Awards, and he was presented a special Grammy Awards, which he checked the Grammys for not awarding his wife, and said his wife is not. She's been awarded, but she's never been awarded the coveted Album of the Year. And
That
so
was
his
funny
daughter
because he
was.
did it on the same night that Taylor Swift got her stuff.
Oh my gosh, it almost felt Kanye-ish. And I saw the
Almost.
comments, I saw the comments on the video for Alicia Keys and Jay being on it. Now, back a long time ago at the MTV Awards, Little Mama appeared. She was so hyped about the song that she jumped on stage, but she was not a part of the performance. And rumored had it is that Jay was not happy that she jumped on stage like that. I
Wow.
guess he was like, you have interrupted the flow between me and Alicia Keys, because I don't think he does too many collabos. So, I guess he wanted that to flow. But everyone was joking around in the comments with the Tony Awards. Where's Little Mama? And I was like, Little Mama's not jumping on nobody else's stage. She pretty
Not
much
after
got
that.
shut down. Not after that. No, she got shut down pretty much after that little stint. And I was like, oh man. So I think she's a decent actress that she portrayed Left Eye in the TLC
Right.
Lifetime original movie. But yeah, but my goodness, we're doing June, we're doing Black Music Month, and of course myself and Coach Tony chit-chatted about this. It's all about what? Run DMC.
So that means you also got to support what? Not only Black Music Month is DJ Month, because
Yes.
Jam Master Jay, Jam Master Jay, not with us anymore. Not with us anymore. You're looking at right there, Val, the coldest collaboration of a rap group that got this thing pushed in the right direction. Now, Melly Mel and the Furious Five, Sugar Hill Gang, they started to train up. It's kind of like, if I had to make a sports analogy,
Okay.
tell me if you get this or not. DMC is the Michael Jordan to the NBA. Magic and Bird gave it to us in 79, 80, and the league was turning. We had already seen Oscar. We had already seen Luther. We had already seen Wilt. But Magic and Bird was a show. They didn't get the interest into the league, and then along comes this kid named Michael Jordan, who then would eventually be named MJ, who took it to another level. And then came another kid named Kobe, who then kept it going and handed it off to LeBron. So you got Sugar Hill Gang, Melly Mel, Furious Five, all these guys are doing all this stuff, late 70s, early 80s, Grandmaster Flash on the turntables, doing everything, technique, everything. And then all of a sudden, Russell Simmons steps up and says, let me think. Those guys have been doing a great job, but outside of New York, no one really knows who they are. I'm going to put together something that's going to be nationwide. And I'm going to call it Def Jam. And on this label, my brother can rap. He got a homeboy that can rap. And they got one of the coolest DJs in the Bronx. So we're going to put them together. Let me see what we're going to call them. Let me see, Ron, Daryl Mack, Reverend Ron, Jam Master Jay. Oh, Run DMC. For those that don't know, there's Run, and DMC is Daryl Mack. And that's where they got their DMC.
Right. So Joseph Run Simmons, Jason Jam Master Jay Manziel, Daryl DMC McDaniels. They formed in 1983, all hailing from Hollis, Queens. Hollis, Queens representing. And their self-titled album, they had the first album to be certified gold. That was Kings of Rock. And then Raising Hell was the first rap album to be certified platinum. With the King of Rock, there is none higher.
Sucker MC, they call me Sire. Man. One else start to I retire. I'm telling you, that Kings of Rock and Rockbox was on there, which is ridiculous. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'm telling you, man, the one thing that I remember about DMC is their collaboration. Now, like we talked about Alicia Keys and we talked about Jay-Z collaborating together, and this became a monster hit for Alicia Keys. Like on her album, there's like a piano, strictly piano, Empire State of Mind, and then there's a version with
Yes.
her and Jay-Z. And of course, that was a big chart topper. However, with Run DMC, they were already chart topping by themselves, but the amazing crossover of hip hop is thanks to the great idea to collaborate with rock legends Aerosmith. And Walk This Way was a song they originally recorded on their own, Aerosmith, but someone had the bright idea to bring Hollis Queens and Aerosmith together.
Let me tell you something, Val. Let me tell you a little story. So if you haven't
What
watched
you got?
the Run DMC documentary, so how that all went down, I'm gonna run into what happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
DMC and these guys, and they got together. They weren't making no money. They were selling tickets up in Hollis, just trying to get to the Apollo. The first time they went to the Apollo, they got booed off stage. Then
Wow.
they had to make it. When they finally started getting that name in New York, as the story was told in the documentary, they had to take a trip to London. So they go and take this trip to London. As they go take this trip to London, they had no place to stay. It was out of a van, had no money whatsoever. And all of a sudden, they were like, I want you to perform with this other group over here. By the way, they from New York as well. Y'all should collab together. They're like, what's their name? Like the Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys. Who the hell is that? So they didn't want to do. In the meanwhile, Aerosmith, and you already know, they were rock legends. They were performing. So the two of them connected while over there. Months forward, they come back to New York. Now, not dating myself, but they had, as you can look it up, something that was called the Fresh Fest in
Okay.
1985, 86. So
I heard
as it
about
moved
that.
throughout the New York area and down through the states, DC, and it moved across, it got to Chicago. We had a venue called Poplar Creek back in the day.
I remember
So
that. Yeah.
at this venue, you had DMC bringing in, and Russell Simmons was sold everything. So the opening act for the Fresh Fest was none other than the dude that they had just met, bumped into, and DMC decided to put him on, and Beastie Boys, which had my friend Brass Monkey, that funky monkey, right? Paul Revere, everything on that. Licensed to Ill, the #1 album, which I showed you that last week.
You
The
did. You
second
did.
act, which is an album that you may want to show the folks right now, that was none other than LL Cool J and the Rock the Bells. That was the LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care if you tell. I excel, they all fail. Come on now. So
Mm-hmm.
when you were looking at that, I was like, man, they can't beat this. And all of a sudden, Val, don't. Man, here comes none other than Flavor Flav jumps on stage with my man Chuck D and freaking Public Enemy. Now at the time,
Wow.
you're looking at pre pre Spike Lee,
Okay.
right? Do the right thing. And then all of a sudden, DMC closes the show out. And when they get to Walk This Way, Aerosmith jumps through stage in an explosion. Boom. Lands on the stage,
Wow.
and then he go, and they drop the beat, man. When I say one of the coldest concerts I probably have ever been to in terms of featured acts
Oh.
that are, as we say, 50 years of hip hop, that was 35, 40 years ago. And I'm telling you that guy right there, for those of you who may not know, LL Cool J, he's about to release another album after 25 years being away from the charts.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Now, this particular book cover in 2006, I got a chance to meet LL Cool J, and he
I
signed
see you,
this
man.
book
I
for
see you. I
me.
see you.
Yeah, I know. And I got a chance. He came to Barnes and Noble, and that's his signature right there. LL Cool J right there. Ooh, so cool. But this was his platinum workout, because back then he was ripped. He was doing his thing to make sure he stayed in shape or whatever. And had just started doing an acting job on NCIS
Yeah.
Los Angeles, which just
Yep.
came to an end about a year ago.
Yep.
So he has been before us in some shape or form since 1984.
And then he just coming back to you guys for this summer. For some of you guys that don't know, if you pull up and you take a look, he's doing the Rock the Bells Fest. And I was telling
Mhm.
Val, I love what Cool J is doing because he's moving it around the country, and depending on where he's going, he's taking the best artists, local artists, out of that market, whether it be Atlanta and go get Outkast, or Chicago. It's a little Dirk now that's hot, and I love
Mhm.
that because he's bringing the young cats in the audience and capturing the eyes with the young cats. And then they're saying, who are these three old dudes? Well, y'all know Diggy. I'm Diggy Daddy.
Exactly, exactly. And we're talking about Diggy Simmons. He literally just wrapped up his sixth season on Grownish on Freeform, and so they have finished up all 6 seasons of Grownish, and Grownish now is on Hulu. I believe all 6 seasons are streaming. But it was good to see Diggy Simmons. I think they added him to the cast full time,
Cats, yeah.
probably after the third or fourth season, because that was one of the shows I watched because it was a spinoff of Blackish. And so, yeah, but this is actor LL Cool J. This is when he couldn't hide behind the hat. LL Cool J looking very stoic and very NCIS Los Angeles.
But I'm hoping,
But
and
you
that's what I'm
say,
hoping that these young kids go do their homework. And
mhm,
as he drops his new album, as you see him right there, I'm hoping these
mhm.
kids go do their homework, Val, and don't try to come out like they try to do Method Man and Red Man a few
No.
weeks ago in New York. And they understand you are listening to the GOAT. And if you don't understand the music, keep your mouth quiet. We do.
Yeah, don't say nothing. Just be chill. Don't even say anything. But like I said, it was a real honor to meet LL. And like I said, he had a lot of people there at the Barnes and Noble. And I'm telling you, I got my little book signed. I was over the moon. But I think, as I'm looking at this correctly, he has been married to his, oh
High school
gosh,
sweetheart.
high school sweetheart since the 90s. Let me see what I have here. Yeah, LL has been married. Oh God, there we go. Nearly 30 years. They first met as teenagers in '87, and they share 4 children together.
I
Oh
tell
my
you,
God.
him and LeBron James is the GOAT on that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, yeah, her name is Simone Smith. So here's the thing.
Looking at this, and you
Uh-huh.
look at these two guys,
Uh-huh.
what was your favorite track? Did you have a favorite track with DMC, or you had a more favorite track with LL Cool J? And what was that track?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I'm gonna go back and do DMC first. And I think one of my favorites from DMC, as I circle back to them, is I was really hyped with Down with the King. That's one of my favorites from
That was with the King
Run
a long time
DMC.
ago.
Yeah, that was I was in college when that came out. And I was just really hyped because I was just like, oh man. And in my mind, I'm thinking the King. They were probably talking about God. In my eyes, they're talking about God. So I'm like, yeah, that would work. And then of course, I what's another favorite? I love their Christmas song. They're one of the
Hollis
few.
and Queens,
Yeah,
Hollis and Queens, there we go.
I never understood that they were the first hip hop artists and rap artists to do a Christmas album.
Well,
And
they were
Mom's cooking
second
something
because
in California.
Sugar Hill
Mhm.
Gang gave you the big, the big album, the record from the if your food ain't taste so good, so they gave you that first one, but DMC came back and gave you physically 4 or 5 tracks for that Christmas album, which was dope.
Yeah. So
Now
it
mine
wasn't
was
that.
kinda hard.
Yeah. So those are my two favorites from Run DMC because I laugh.
Now, what was
Gives
your
me
two
such
favorites
joy.
from LL Cool J?
Oh man, Roundaway Girl. That's that they I wanted to be the girl with the extensions in the hair, have at least 2 bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair, a Fendi bag, and a bad
Right.
attitude.
Dude.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I want, so I can impress. The ladies love Cool James. He was always licking his doggone lips. And I was just thinking to myself, baby, get some chapstick. What's wrong with you? Is that supposed to be a come hither? Because I don't
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah, 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 yeah. The ladies are like, oh, I know Cool J. I keep licking them lips, boy.
No. I need you to get some chapstick. Now I've now turned into my mother. I need you to get some chapstick. I need you to stop licking your lips. Go put a shirt on, boy. Put a
Yeah.
shirt on.
But what was your second track?
Oh man, he did. It was right on the tip of my tongue, but it was. I think it was for a soundtrack. I loved him in this movie called "Deliver Us from Eva."
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, that was and that was with Gabrielle Union. And I thought the two of them had chemistry. They were so funny. And come to find out, at the very end of Deliver Us from Eva, they shoot the scene in Chicago. One of the people that's on the horse is our very own and friend to the show and former guest, April Wheaton White. She has one line.
Wow.
That's her. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until she said she was in it. And I was like, you are? And then I grabbed the movie. I have it on DVD and I went to the last couple of frames of the film and I said, that's April. Oh, wow. So yes. And then when the two of them ride off with the horses, she's one of the police horsemen that's on the horse.
Oh, that's dope. Well,
that's really dope.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to drop mine for you.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. This is another Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesday. We'll be right back. Here we go.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
And we're back. Oh my gosh. So there's a song that LL Cool J did with Anne-Marie. That's one of my favorites from him. And then I'm sorry, it's Loungin', and that's a Total. Who Do You Love? Because it samples Bernard. It samples my favorite. Yeah, it samples my favorite song from Bernard Wright. Who Do You Love? Yes, that's those are my two.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna go back as that real DJ on the street. I'm gonna give it to you from the turntablism.
Okay,
I'm gonna start out with my boys from Hollis, Queens.
Okay.
There's no track that they drop that's colder than my Adidas. Walking on 25th Street, my Adidas. Man, let me tell you something. When they dropped my Adidas, they said the shoe sales for Adidas went through the roof. That means you drop a record, you make a move like Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. But it was Adidas at the time. And they kept the fresh Adidas gear to the point that jacket that Daryl Mack has got, they actually resold that jacket as the DMC Hollis Queens jacket. And that exclusive Adidas jacket, she was about $125, $130 just for the jacket, $250 for the outfit. So that record was a movement, and you walk around on the yard, we was on the campus, man, my Adidas come on, man. Man, you go to a party, you can scratch when you hear and man, wind it back. Come on, Val. Don't play with me. Don't
Oh
play with me.
man. Oh
Don't play
man.
with me. And then the other track, when DMC and Daryl Mack just spit, I mean, Jam Master Jay did his thing with Ron's house. Whose
Right.
house?
House,
Ron's house.
Run's house. Whose house?
Man.
and,
And what people don't get, and some of them that wasn't privy to that, this was actually a diss track that people didn't
did
know
not know that.
because it was at the time that Cool J, Public Enemy, EPMD, all these boys was coming up. Eric B. and Rakim was young. Slick Rick the Ruler, Dana Dane was still there. I'm dropping some nuggets for y'all. Pick them up. And Ron was letting you know, at the end of the day, because my brother is Russell Simmons, and we're on tour, and we're on the Def Jam tour. It is Ron's house. No one else's house but Ron's house. And that track ended up being in the top 10 all-time classics of DMC's records that they've ever made, which is crazy.
Wow, that's really amazing. That is really, really amazing. I'm telling you, man. I am telling you. Like I said, the one thing that I find very fascinating about Run DMC and just kind of their legacy with music is that I saw a recent interview that Daryl McDaniels did with the Tamron Hall show, and he just talked about a lot of the like mental health stress of touring and recording and just kind of the music industry and just kind of how tough it was. And at the time, you know, they were young when they got their first record deal and you know, Russell Simmons and all of that. So he was just relating to us like he literally had to take a major pause. And of course, the passing of Jam Master Jay was really hard on both Run and him. And so
it was hard because it was a situation. It wasn't just a natural death. That was the hardest part.
Exactly. And I think recently that person that was found was convicted, I believe, for his killing, because like I said,
it inside. And they always say, you know your friends, keep your enemies close, keep your friends even closer, right? And somebody that was close in the camp should have been watching it. And the crazy part about it was
and I think it's not cool when those things happen. And so, like I said, I'm such like I said, I was very much praying for a resolution regarding that, because many of us, it's like you lost a close family member, and because their music was so instrumental, especially for me growing up. And a lot of folks got into rap because of Run DMC. Do you know how many people credit Run DMC as inspirations for them starting in the rap game?
Exactly. I mean, again, Val.
Nope. The reason why I said I wanted to go and do something in hip hop was because I watched Run. I watched Jam Master Jay. You had EPMD. You had who did DeWick? That was Gangstar. There was a lot of artists that you talked with them one-on-one. They would say, "Nope, who inspired me when I was trying to come up?" And I got into hip hop really hard in the 90s. So hip hop had already been around for a solid 10 to 20 years in the early 90s. So man, oh man. But another thing I wanted to mention was Run eventually became Reverend Run. You remember that? He eventually became Reverend Run.
He was already kind of Rev Run. It just came out. But the one thing you did not mention is that while you were falling in love with him, while Guru was doing his thing, and that's another thing. If you've not heard Jazzmatazz by Guru, you need to get it. By Gangstar, rather, Guru, the Jazzmatazz album. But the other thing that you didn't even mention about is DMC. They were on the top of their game with no cursing.
Woo!
I mean, I got people, my boy homeboys, listen to like, man, what's these nursery rhymes? Like, are you kidding me? You put some of these stuff. Everybody want to be a gangster now and all this. Dude, these dudes are spit. Like right now, the #1 song, and I got to add one, The number one song that they ever made in terms of my personal opinion, besides Adidas, was Sucker MCs. When they dropped
Yeah, I
Sucker
remember
MC,
that too.
man, I bought that on wax. I got that in this drawer. Matter of fact, Val,
Oh, you do? What you got over there? Let me see what you got. What is
Sucker
that? What is that
MC,
on wax?
Sucker
What?
MC, DMC.
Oh my gosh. Look
Hey,
at you.
but the thing is that, and then when I moved on up to my guy and LL Cool J,
Mhm.
I fell in love with
Yeah.
Cool J because after I came back and seen him in the Fresh Fest, and he dropped top, pop, pop, pop. Man, when he dropped I'm Bad, oh my God. And then he started doing the
Oh,
great. Come on, you can't forget I'm Bad.
yes.
That beat on I'm Bad.
Yes.
Cool J,
And
Cool J. Man,
and the thing about him, because he broke the mold of doing, I guess, the first rap love song. When I'm alone in my room, I hear
so
something the
I need
wall and
love.
something said,
I
I
need
need
love.
love. And I was like, you got
Come
a
on, man. But
rapper
you
talk
don't.
about they need love? What?
Yeah, I'm like, you messing up the rap game. And then all of a sudden, five more rappers follow right behind and trying to do the same damn thing. But the record that's kind of goes with what the one you said is I was a jingling baby. Go ahead, baby. You jingling baby.
Oh,
Go ahead,
yeah,
baby.
yeah. That was a
Bum,
fun
bum,
video.
bum, 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 bum,
I
bum, bum. Put on
I
that
would have
horn.
I would have loved to have been on the set of that music video, because that looked like
Yes,
that was so much fun. And then you had that one, I guess, the gentleman that was trying to portray his manager, and he's like, "I want you to look at it, look at here." They hung
right,
up on his ear, and they
right,
just kept dancing, and I was like,
right.
"What is happening?"
Hey, and then if you want to listen to the diss track, he had one of the biggest rap battles, which I think was probably the first true on wax in the public eye rap battle with Kool Mo D when he dropped that
Mhm.
"Mama Said Knock You Out," and Mo D came back at him with "How You Like Me Now, boy."
Oh
Y'all
yeah.
can't y'all can't tell me nothing.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that, and I was a huge fan of Kool Mo D. Definitely loved it. And here's the weird thing: I don't know what Kool Mo D is up to these days, but for LL to stay in the spotlight for as long as he has, and to
Yes,
stay relevant, like he has many films under his acting belt. And like I said, he had spent a whole decade and some change on NCIS Los Angeles. Like, this is someone that said, let me take my talents and not just stay on the small screen and rap. And I've seen, and you know what, I've seen LL in concert at the Essence Music Festival. I've seen him perform live at the Essence Music Festival. So he gives a great show. He gives a really, really great
but
show.
think,
But
think about what you
yeah,
just said, Val. Think about
what I
what you
just,
just said.
what I say?
This guy breaks the mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the DMC movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
gets signed with Russell Simmons, right? At the
Mm-hmm.
time, he became the youngest at I think 15 or 16 years old. And then
Okay.
he moves out to a movie career. And then 25, 30 years later, Val, he then comes back with a Rock the Bells concert after the very first album he put out called Rock the Bells. So
Mm-hmm.
if you ain't up on Cool J music, you don't know what the hell he's talking about. Then he's about to drop a new album. And then the funny part about it is, at that time, the females came.
Who's the female? Who is that? Who am I looking at? Is that Salt and Pepper?
Salt and Pepper was
Oh,
Spinderella.
okay.
Salt and Pepper, Spinderella.
Salt and Pepper.
Hey, start, start
Yay.
doing their thing. And they said they were inspired by Cool J because when he dropped the I Need Love, the girls were like, wait a minute, he dropping slow songs, I can drop a rap. Because women was probably made to sing so forth so on. But you're looking at an era, Val, that you just mentioned. Take that
Mm-hmm.
10-year era from Sucker MCs in 1983 to
Mm-hmm.
1993. You had the
Right.
explosion of Rodney King getting beat. You had
Yeah.
NWA
Bad.
exploding on the scene. You had
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg coming alive. You had Spike Lee on his side bringing you everything that's Black related in terms of the movie theaters, keeping us
Mhm.
freshly up to speed on everything we can do. You had Public Enemy in a situation where he had the government looking at him until NWA stepped on set. And then all of a sudden, you now had a movement, a 10-year, decade movement of rap music that didn't even supposed to make it off the ground because no one thought it would be. And during the 5-year span, which is between 88 and 93, you had the FBI, tapes being burned, CDs being stepped on, tapes being crushed, and the FBI trying to take NWA out the picture. So
No.
to live 50 years, that's why I keep telling everybody, if you're going to understand hip hop music, you got to go back to the origin of stuff. And that's, again, if you go back and listen to BDP, which is KRS-One, he
There you
tells
go.
you, and he says in a verse, 50 years down the line, we'll still be the new artist, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
hip hop will still be one as a whole.
Right, exactly.
But he told you that on his track in 1988, 89 on Wadada Dang.
I'm just saying this, the longevity of artists is something that I've studied for a long while, and I think for artists to, in their mind, stay relevant, if they have a good agent, if they have someone that's good with A&R, you're gonna have a great. You're gonna. Oh my God, is that cool? Is that cool, Mo D? How you like? Oh, that's Wild Wild West.
Wow,
Yes,
wow, West. I
yes,
used to be
yes.
uptown,
Did he
120th
do any?
Fifth Street.
129th Street,
Yeah,
129th
yeah, my
Street.
bad, my bad, my bad.
But really quickly, did Kumo D ever do any acting? I feel like did he do any
I,
acting ever?
I
I
think
feel like
after the rap battle, he tried to get into a couple small flicks. I don't think they did. I think was he in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
mm-hmm.
I think he may have been in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, but it was some small stuff. I don't think he did anything major. But this was the track.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And Wild Wild West was hype. That was one of the ones that was hype. But like I said, thank you for reminding me of that battle, the lyrical battle that was between LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee. Like
Man, it started
that is
everything off.
mm-hmm.
Then
And,
you had
and
Dana Dane and Slick Rick after that. Remember the Dana Dane
mhm.
Slick Rick movement? I mean,
And Kevin Springer mentioned, he said, shout out to Roxanne
oh,
Shante.
Roxanne. Like, man,
Bop,
I want
bop.
who ended up being the first female rapper who used to
Mhm.
battle rap guys. She was part of MC Shan. So, and
Right,
then and it
right.
was crazy because it wasn't until KRS-One dissed her. Like, come on,
Right.
Roxanne, and man, I'm telling you, that was crazy to see and
Yeah,
now they just did a documentary on her being the first battle rap female back in the
I
day.
saw that. Yeah. And she blazed the trail for a lot of the female rappers that got started then, as well as some who are still around now, who also is releasing an album not too long from now, is going to be MC Light. She has her
Yeah,
single out
I can't wait.
right now.
I
I can't
cannot
wait for that to come
wait.
out. Yeah, but a lot of the female artists or female rap artists, they'll tell you, they'll say, "Hey, I was checking out Roxanne Shante. I was checking out a few other female MCs that were, putting it down, and that gave me the courage to step up and take the mic and do their thing." But man, Run DMC and LL Cool J, that is our Black Music Month look at some two titans in the hip hop industry. And definitely now, no diss, although there's weirdness that's happened with Russell Simmons and charges and stuff that's happened. I think he's not even in the States. I'm mentioning it because I know it's in the news, but what was started and created with Run DMC has got to be mentioned. LL Cool J, can you name the first film that LL Cool J appeared in? The very first film.
I want to say the very first film, it may have been Deep Blue Sea.
Okay, you got to go back a little bit further. I think Deep Blue Sea was in the 90s.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a hint. The Fat Boys was in the film. And
Oh yeah, that was my move. Oh my God, that wasn't Crush Group, was it?
yes, it was. You got a star. Look at you. Yay. Thank you. And then Kevin said it. Thank you. Woo! Crush Groove. Right. And I think Sheila E was in that as well. It was like a beautiful mix of everyone that was popular on the charts. They was in the movie.
Yes, man,
So
that was one of the funniest. That was one of the funniest movies. I tell you, man, that was a funny movie.
yeah. And here's the thing. There's a Crust Groove is not the first, I want to say, hip hop based. There was Beat Street, and I think before that, Electric Break.
Boogaloo.
Yeah, Break
Yep,
into
Break It.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, so those were the films that came out just before Crush Groove. But to me, it just, I don't know, it reflected the culture, and this was before it was mainstream. But I felt like hip hop really got its legs when it hit movies. When movies and hip hop came together, that's when it got out everywhere. Where people were like, we want to know more about this. And Aerosmith's combination with Run DMC, yeah, most definitely.
So when you talk about Juneteenth, this is part of music, Juneteenth. And this is something, I tell these kids all the time, I was just with my daughter the other day with her boyfriend who DJs, and every time a old school track come on, I'm like, who is that? Oh yeah, that's Barry White. Okay, I'm checking because they have to know. It's kind of like me and you talked earlier. You call it Juneteenth. No, we don't call it Juneteenth. It's actually Juneteenth. You need to know why we call it that. And just like with the music, you can't grow and music can't go. Why do you think like Val, why do you think like DMC just performed and they just, Rev Run had his own show recently with Lil Dicky them doing what they do? Why do you think Cool J is able to come back and do a Rock the Bells tour? Because they are still relevant. And why do you think Snoop Dogg and Dre, Snoop keeping Uncle Charlie busy, right? And doing his thing of that nature. So why? Because, and he keeps George Clinton busy as well. Because you keep the old funk going, the music. And if you can do that and the people respect that, then the music never dies. Music will change, but you'll still hear now everything on the radio right now, Val's a remix. I don't hear too much new music. I don't care. So somebody give me some new tracks. The ones that are hits got a sample of something in the back of them from back in the day.
Way back in the day, yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. Prince, he literally had Arrested Development pay him over 6 figures for them sampling the word Tennessee from Alphabet Street. A lot of people don't know that, but he, when I interviewed Speech Thomas from Arrested Development, he stated that Prince could have just taken the song completely away from them, but he didn't. He says, just pay me. You sampled it. I heard it. Pay me. And that's what, what happened.
Here's the cool part about that, Val. Go ahead and pay me my 100 stacks, and then you figure out how to get your 100 stacks back. And they did that because that almost made them a one-hit wonder.
Exactly. And because they made that agreement, and the funny thing is they were able to talk about it later. They were able to, do some other stuff with him. So so that's the thing that's most important. But like I said,
he wasn't an easy person to work with. Remember, you and I had that conversation a while back when Nas was performing with him. Remember, he asked Nas, "Do you own your masters?" And Nas said, "No." He said, "Man, you got to get off my stage. I can't perform because what I'm not going to do is perform and somebody come back and get in my pocket and ask me for some money." That is exactly. And Nas said, from that day and that point, Everything about me musically changed.
Wow. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, for June being Black Music Month and also National DJ Month, myself and Coach Tony will be getting into it again on next week. But I thought it was going to go 6 games. I thought Dallas had a chance. I don't know. You predicted this. So we're
Hey,
going to have to talk
all,
about it,
all
even
I'm
if it's
saying,
ever so briefly.
all I'm saying is if you had listened to Coach Tony on Monday nights and a little bit on Tuesday for promotional purposes only, you should be having a good weekend coming up because I am. I told Val last night, I'm gonna have a nice little weekend. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my boy Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, MVP of the division from the West Championship. I mean, for the Eastern Championship, he was the MVP, and then he was the MVP of the finals. Uh,
Right.
so that was hard. Hadn't done that in a while. So amazing, absolutely amazing. In
So,
Boston, they're to me, these guys are so young, Val. Next year
mhm,
gonna be even more interesting because I think that, and I was telling you guys, the West was so hard. I would bounce between Denver and bounce a little bit between Oklahoma and this and that. But I only had one team out east, and that was always Boston. And I said, if they get through it, they win it hands down, and they won it.
so
I gave Dallas 6, but they cleaned up
yeah.
5.
So with Boston, it's been a while since they've won, but now with their win, the historic win on yesterday, they now become the NBA team that now has the most
All time
rings. They
winningest
now all
franchise
time win.
of all
So it's
franchises.
of all.
That's any
Mhm.
sport. That's basketball, that's NFL, Major League Baseball, any of that stuff. The Boston Celtics and the God.
Yeah, but most definitely. And I don't know if you know about this. Alfred Holford, nicknamed Big Al.
Oh
He
yeah, Al
is
Horford.
he's the first Dominican professional basketball player to
Yep, saw
be
that.
to win for and be in the
Yeah, I saw that.
um, yeah. And I was thinking, oh, I didn't know
He's
he
an
was
old man.
Dominican. Didn't know
He's
that.
up there. He's up there old as LeBron.
He's
So
30. Oh, he's 38. Okay.
yeah, he's up there with LeBron. You know, Val, he played with when we had Joakim Noah in Chicago. He came out with my guy Corey Brewer out of Tennessee, that Florida team. He played for my guy Billy Donovan, coach at Florida at that time before Billy moved on to a couple stints and ended up with the Bulls. So Al Holford has been around for a minute. Great guy, good guy, and he lived the entire he did 18, I think in his 18th or 19th season, and you've never heard anything bad about the guy. He's just
No.
he's one of those Karl Malone type workhorses.
And then, of course, the head coach
Oh,
for Boston Celtics.
Missoula, third season, he wins it in his third. He's young. He's like right now, Val. He's like the new Steve Kerr on the block.
So I'm telling you, and I liked how they did Jaden and Jason. I think they came into the league around the same time and had been trying to
Yep,
win. And I forgot last year they lost to
yep.
Miami. Totally forgot about that.
I don't know how you get
So
that, but Jimmy Buckets put it on him. And then the joke, but you with that J&J out of Boston, you know who made the biggest miss though, Val?
who made the biggest miss?
So who did I tell you last week that Angel Reese signed with in Chicago?
Chicago Sky?
No, she's with the Sky
No.
already. But I'm just saying, what deal did she cut? You remember I told you?
Oh, yes, you did. I forgot. Remind me.
Harold's Chicken.
Oh, Harold's Chicken. Oh, here in
Yeah, that's it.
Chicago. All right,
So
yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
J&J's should have called J&J and did a special deal. Like, listen, I know y'all boys in Boston. We want to bring a J&J franchise to Boston.
You got to say it like that. You have to say it Boston. Bring it to Boston.
I'm telling you, if they would have done that, I think Tatum and Brown would have bought in, could have owned their first J&J's fish in Boston. By
And of
God.
course, and Kevin says, I'm glad they gave some credit to Coach Brad Stevens for helping them make
Yes.
the changes needed to help making it a victorious franchise team. Thank you
Well, you
for
got to look at what
mentioning
they
that.
did. You got, and I'm going to take it one better than that, Springer. You got to think Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge could have wrecked a lot of stuff up after the Larry Bird situation when he sent Bird years ago to Indiana. You know,
Mhm.
and Danny Ainge believed in he's the one who went and got Brad Stevens, made Brad Stevens a coach, and because they had a little inside behind the scoop, little vanilla on chocolate, as we call it, Napoleon with his Neapolitan ice cream, you know what I'm saying? Let me get some of that
Mhm.
Napoleon. So because of that, and he brought Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens was able to walk away until Eric came in, and then of course he screwed everything up when he had Neil Long situation, and
Yeah.
Missoula walked right into a perfect opportunity, and all he had to do is redefine everything. And when they went out and got Drew Holiday, that was the
Yeah.
missing piece. That was the
Mhm.
person that could play defense. Got rid of Kyrie, brought somebody in who can defend, and let Tatum and Brown do their thing. And then here come Porzingis and Al Horford. It was a wrap.
Yeah.
Now we get 3 months to get Porzingis back healthy. We get
Right.
to sit the old man Al Horford down, see if he can make it one more year,
One more
and
year. I want him to make it one more year. Yes.
then if we can run this thing again. Because I'm telling you, on the other side of the border next year, believe me, Denver and the Joker will be back. But that boy Ant-Man and Minnesota Timberwolves will definitely be knocking on the door.
Let me in. Let
Hey,
me in. Let
hey,
me in.
put my grandbaby in the game.
Oh my gosh. But my goodness. And of course, yeah, most definitely aimed set up that lovely for Brad and Boston. Wow. Wow. Like I said, it's ironic I'm wearing green. Not that I'm a Boston fan, but like I said, congratulations. Thank you so very much for placing it. They are the 2023-24 NBA champions. So congratulations
The
to
parade will
Boston. They
be
did it in 5.
parade will be
Mhm.
later on this week. I'm almost positive the parade will be later
Mhm.
on this week. So, but once again, ladies and gentlemen, you don't get this unless you tune in to Interludes Talk on Tuesday. That's why you got to like us, you got to share us, and more importantly, you got to subscribe to the show so you can make sure you continue to do this. And what Val and I are also going to do as we continue Black Month, we've been focused on the last couple of weeks of music. Next week, we're going to talk about some DJs. We don't want to forget the DJ. We don't want to
Of
forget
course.
that this is a celebration for DJ Month. We're going to talk about some heavy hitting DJs that went on to be producers and big things in the industry. So make sure you tune in for that so you can get some more knowledge.
Of course, of course. And so, but like I said, the coming up for next week, we got the Pull Up Podcast show. I'm excited for you, Coach. He's
Website.
been putting it down every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. But on next week, who do you have, sir? We'd like to
Man,
know.
let me tell you something, Val. On that Monday night, we give it to you quarter by quarter, right?
Mhm.
We break it down, as they said, let it be broke, right? So next week, if you are an HBCU fan in this
Mhm.
month of Juneteenth, in this month of Black Music Month, in this month of celebrating DJs and coming off of 50 years of hip hop, I've got a catalyst, someone who's
Mm.
been working, when I say from the bootstraps up, when I talk about a story, I have none other than Dr. Kiki Barnes previously at Dillard University, who is now the commissioner. You hear me, Val? She's the
The commissioner.
commissioner of the Gulf
Mhm.
Coast Athletic Conference which is consumed of Xavier University, Dillard, Suno, and those schools in the Southeast region, including our own Fisk University right here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we're going to talk to her about her plight and her rise to glory. And again, watch us, talk about us, help us out, share, and more importantly, subscribe to the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, the one and only Coach Tony.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So please join us on next Monday for Dr. Kiki Barnes. We are excited to have her on. And when I saw how long Coach had been trying to get Kiki on the show, it has been a long minute. So it is. So yeah. I said pre-sales are available right now, but the actual book is coming out. I am going to push like it all get out for it to come out this week, preferably tomorrow on Juneteenth. That would be really, really cool if it happened.
That would be dope.
That would be real dope. And of course, join us on patreon.com/interludes. It's Interludes presents Provide Your Voice. Join our community today where you see behind the scenes with Coach Tony and myself as we do this show, Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays, as well as the Pull Up Podcast Show. Oh, my
before we get out of here, I want to make sure we don't forget Miss Tina Michelle. I apologize. We forgot you, girl. What's up, fam?
Oh, no.
She said, man, Dr. Kiki Barnes, wow. She's a huge fan. So I want to make sure if you do nothing else, Tina, you make sure you tune in Monday night to my show on the Pull Up Podcast Show. And again, when we drop this on LinkedIn, we drop it this week and you see the post for the show, you make sure you share it, put it on social media. We want to give Dr. Barnes a warm welcome around here and let us know what we do. But more importantly, let us know we appreciate how our African-American women have gone on in the business of athletics to cut their own brand.
Very much so. Very much so. And like I said, you've had some phenomenal guests on the Pull Up Podcast Show. It has been an honor to be, I like to call it a producing fly on the wall. To
Man,
see, like, who is coming? Just to see who's going to be coming through the door. But this is another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. We're celebrating Black Music Month. And of course, we're doing the DJs on next week. I'm excited about it. You're excited about it. Congratulations. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics for their championship run. And of course, the NBA draft is coming on June 26, 27. So of course, Coach Tony and myself, we will be around to talk to you all about it. But until then, you know how we do. Peace.